Hi, everybody. Loudmouth Linda here. Well, got some bad news. This week it's Catty Connie. She's not feeling well. She's feeling under the weather. So she pulled up for me. So it's time for me to do for her. Needless to say, I am feeling better. And I wish to her that she feels well soon. I know she had some plans for the weekend and for the beginning of next week. So I hope she feels better to go and take care of the things that she wants to. Hi, Royal Apple. How are you? I was just saying, Catty Connie's under the weather, and I was wishing her well and hoping she would feel better soon. But she pulled the slack for me when I wasn't feeling good. So now it's my turn to return the favor. And I have no problem at all doing that. The only thing that might be a little bit different is that we're going to do a couple different things, but with it just being me tonight, I'll do the best I can. I know she had some things she wanted to talk about. She is going to try and pop on and go in the chat like I did. Um, but needless to say. So, with all that being said and good, how are you, Royal Apple? I hope you're feeling well and all is well as could be. And for everybody else, yeah, I hope you're having a good day. I hope you'll have a great weekend and see um absolutely, Royal Apple. Yes, it is in God's hands, and everything is at His will. And those of us that do have God with us, boy, are we the lucky ones. I mean, I don't know how I would have gotten through the last couple of weeks. I don't know how I would have probably gotten through the last couple of years, actually. It's been tough on everybody, and you just got to keep the faith, guys. Without faith you have really nothing. I mean, you can be the richest person on earth, but I wouldn't want to face the creator at that point. So, oh, thank you, Royal Apple. Well, she did it for me last week when I was in the hospital. So, and I talked to her earlier, and she's just feeling under the weather. Um, so, but what a crazy week for news, huh? I mean, last week and this week. Um, yes, definitely. Definitely. Um, with Trump being found guilty, which is just a joke. And I believe Monday or Tuesday, they started Hunter Biden's trial. Now that's a joke. That's a joke because I was just reading before I came on that good old daddy says that if he's found guilty, he won't pardon his son. I find that hard to believe. I find that very, very hard to believe that he would not pardon his son because, now that his other son, Bo, is gone, all he has is Hunter. And Hunter, to me, seems to be the bad apple in the family, which call me crazy, but I think that he takes after his daddy a little bit more than Bo did. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I can see, yeah, I can definitely see it. No problem. But of course, that's my opinion. And this is all for entertainment purposes only, of course, and it's mostly Connie and I's opinion. So I'm just going to keep with that little thing going there. And I see you. Um, and yeah, Now I lost my train of thought. Okay. Well, anyway, um, so with the with Hunter Biden's trial, apparently his ex-wife Haley. I'm not sure if that. I don't know. I don't know. She may come on and text like I did in the chat, but I don't know because I can see her. I can see her, and she walked by. So anyway, um, uh, his ex-wife Haley. Now I'm not sure if that was the one. I didn't have enough time to look into it, and I apologize. I am not sure if that was Bo's wife. I don't know if he ever married Bo's wife. Um, so, but she was on the stand and she was saying how tumultuous their relationship was with him using the drugs and how bad it was. And, you know, I mean, you got an ex wife, and through personal experience of knowing people that were with at some point in time people that found themselves on the wrong side and dived in a little deep where they probably shouldn't have. But it gets very ugly and very tumultuous, and it's very hard to live with somebody that is doing drugs. Um, not really too sure about crack, but I do know about people that have used other drugs. Um, well, hello, Connie. I saw you. Yes, I did. Um, so yeah, I was just telling them about the Hunter's trial and that his ex-wife Haley was on the stand, and how she was talking about how the tumultuous relationship with the drugs. And yeah, if anybody that has never had to deal with it, I wave to you. Um, anybody that has never had to deal with that, it completely and totally alters people. The drugs really alter your personality. Um, I have a personal experience with somebody very close to me that dabbled in drugs. Um, and it was just absolutely horrendous. It changed the dynamic of our relationship for a couple years, which is all better now, and it's back to the way it was. And but yeah, it can be really, really bad. What does that mean, Royal Apple? He become the hint. Oh, the hunt. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I can see that he'll become the hunter or the hunted. Yeah. Yeah. I guarantee you, if by the grace of God they find him guilty, he will be hunted. He's not going to stick around. He's got too much money. And, I mean, he knows a lot of people over in Europe, and he's just so damn dumb. He would probably go right over to Ukraine. So, yeah, I believe it, Royal Apple. I do believe it. I do believe that he's going to run. He's going to run. There's no question in my mind. He will not stand up like a man. He will not take it like a man. He will run like, well, the expression. Um, yeah. So, but I'm confused on how come it took one day to get the jury when it took so many days for Trump to get the jury. And then I'm kind of confused on how this trial is only going to take a week. You know, uh, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. And his are federal charges. His are federal charges. How can that, I mean, it's crazy. And the only thing I can figure, which I'm very, very hoping for, is the prosecution has dotted all their I's and crossed all their T's, and there is not a loophole, mistake, or anything else that will definitely find him guilty. Because from what I've seen and what I've heard, it's not looking good for him. It's really, really not looking good for him. And then by the time the other um, charges roll in on him for other things that he's done that they're looking into, I mean, they're doing a full blown scale into Biden's. I think Connie was telling me this. Am I wrong or right, Connie? That they were doing a full blown investigation into all of their business dealings and businesses. I'm almost sure we had that conversation. But when and they have so many companies, and it's like President Trump. He had companies, he ran companies, they were all legit companies. Okay, thanks, Connie. He had all legit companies, but he couldn't be in charge of any of them. He couldn't know any dealings going on around them or anything else. So how is this other puppet? Okay, yeah. Jim Jordan. Yeah, I love him. He's amazing, but that's my opinion. So anybody that's just joining us, I just wanted to let you know that I'm flying solo tonight. Caddy Connie is a little bit under the weather like I was last week. So it's my turn to pull the weight around here because that's what we do. So with that being said, we're talking about the Hunter Biden trial and the investigating that they're going to start going into. um if they go into Biden, they're opening a whole big giant can of worms, because you're going to pull in the Clintons, you're going to pull in the Obamas, and you're going to pull in a lot of other crusty, slimy Democrats. I just know it. You just feel it in your gut, you feel it in your heart. And I just hope that justice can be served. I don't have much faith in our justice system anymore. Not hardly at all. But let's hope it gets done, And the other one I would like to see go down the drain is Nancy Pelosi. That woman bothers me. I can't even stand her voice. It's so horrendous and so horrible. It really is. And then either, her being drunk or her not having the right dentures and she's slurring, you know. Yeah, right. Ann Raskin, for sure. For sure. But yeah, her slurring got ridiculous. And the one thing that yep. The one thing that really got to me is when she ripped up the when President Trump was doing, I believe it was his first State of the Union, and she ripped up the speech. It's like, really? How disrespectful can you be? I mean, he is the president of the United States. And honestly, I really believe that I think that there should be some kind of law passed or something that if you've got people like Nancy Pelosi, I can't stand saying her name. If you got her and you got Adam Shifty Eye and Chuck Scummer, If you've got people like that in Congress or the Senate, why doesn't the president? I don't care if people elected them in. Why? It's because nobody ever runs against them. So they just go in automatically. So really, who is electing them? Why can't the president fire them? Every job on this earth you can get fired from. Why can you not get fired from that job? And I don't, I mean, and of course you would have to have good reasoning for it. It can't be like, oh, you pissed me off. So yeah, I'm just gonna fire you. No, I'm saying for the things that they've done, because in my opinion, it's all treasonous. That's my opinion. But I mean, let's look at the facts of the people, I mean, and same with ferocious Fauci, that little bag of maggots. Um, sorry. But he just I don't I don't understand, and sometimes I wish I could understand the other side of somebody's brain, that how these people can live a life of luxury. Yeah, that's true. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. She was taught well from her dad. But I don't know how these people that live that life of luxury and are so well, I'm going to use the word privileged. Are so privileged that they can go out and spend their money and put their happy ass and lay their head down at night and go to sleep. I don't understand that. If I had an argument with somebody, or if I felt that I unintentionally disrespected somebody, even though I may have apologized and hugged it out and everything else, I still can't sleep. I can't. It still bothers me. And I make sure that I talk to that person the next day and be like, are we really okay? Because I can't sleep. I can't do it. I cannot do it. But there are so many people out there that it seems like lying, cheating, stealing, it doesn't affect them. I mean, look at our Congress and our Senate. It doesn't bother them that we're all out here struggling. It does not bother them at all. Not at all. I mean, they can't live on $174,000 a year and want to raise, but you've got senior citizens that worked their butts off all of their life and had everything. They had a house, they had a car, the dad worked, the mom stayed home. You know, you didn't have to work because they made enough money. And you could buy groceries and you could still go on a vacation. Yeah, it wasn't maybe a tropical vacation or a lavish vacation, but you still got to go on a vacation to get away from it all. You can't do that nowadays. You cannot do that even with two people working. You can't do it. And then they're building these big, beautiful homes. I don't know about where you guys live, but out a few miles from me, they're building these big, beautiful homes, 500, 600, 800, $900,000. Who can afford those? Who can afford them? Then do you know what they said the average middle class? I saw this the other day and it literally brought me to tears. To be middle class now in this day and age, you have to make equivalent to $174,000 a year. And that's middle class. When middle class, back like when my parents were growing up, middle class, I mean, they made probably $20,000. I mean, you could buy a house for 5,000, you know. It's crazy. It's just crazy, the prices of everything. Absolutely crazy. I mean, it's like a free for all. It's like, "Oh, well, the government is stealing from you guys. So we're just going to up the price of gas. We're going to up the price of um, natural gas. We're going to up the price of electricity. We're going to up the price of your insurance. We're going to up the price of food. Yeah, yeah, she can. Maybe not for much longer though. Um, so I mean, and I remember hearing, "Oh, we're going to do something about the gougers." Man, please, the gougers. They're all gougers. They're all taking, 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 taking. I mean, I really feel bad for the people that what used to be middle income making 50, $60,000 a year. And, the wife stays at home still because there's still a lot of men that don't want their women to work until the kids start school. I was one of them. I didn't work until my kids started school. But then it got boring being at home with no kids. So I gladly went back to work. But, 50, $60,000 and you're living on credit cards because you can't, you have to pay the house payment and you have to pay the bills and you got to buy groceries. So if, and forget the car, what about the insurance on the car? Insurance is absolutely ridiculous. It's ridiculous. My son and my daughter-in-law just had their baby a few months ago. She's 5 months old. And yeah, they can't afford car insurance because they want between $400 and $600 a month for just enough insurance. It's called no fault here in Michigan. I don't know what it's called in your state, but just enough insurance to put that car on the road and legally get a plate for it is $400 to $600 a month. That is my son's house payment. How do you expect these kids to survive? How? How? And then you have people, oh, gotta move back home with mommy and daddy. Well, yeah, you do, because mom and dad's house is paid off. But I mean, how far is that going to go if they didn't have a pension and they're only on Social Security and the taxes go sky high? Yeah, yeah, right. Right, exactly. And I was telling Connie earlier that I saw something that they had an excuse for they had an excuse for why all the insurance rates went so high. So I'm going to look into that and I'll have an answer for you guys next week. Because I cannot for the life of me remember. It was first thing this morning. I was half awake, didn't even have my coffee yet, and it came up on the TV. So yeah. But it's just crazy. It's just crazy. I don't know how they expect people to be out there and surviving, and I just don't get it. I don't understand. So, but anyway, the next little I got to show you guys this. This is hilarious. Hilarious. I found this shirt, guys, and I have to show it to you. Alexa, change the president. Yes. Yep. Yep. I sure did. I got it. Hasn't worked. Hopefully it'll work in November, but Alexa seems to be turned off or something at this time. System must be down. Maybe she's having a malfunction with AI or something. Yeah, I know, Connie. I know. Um, so, but with the Normandy D-Day. Um, this bumbling idiot. I can't even. I really don't even want to talk about him. He turns my stomach. I'll get you one, Connie. He turns my stomach. But anyway, he's gonna go on and on about how it's so important to our democracy and blah. Really, shut up. Sit down, shut up before you fall down. Um, and they only do this like I believe every 5 years, go to France. And here's the real sad news about that, guys. The youngest one there was 91. I mean 96. Sorry. He was 96. I mean, if they do it in 5 years, he's going to be 101. And one of the vets that was flying to France for the D-Day celebration passed away on the way there. How sad is that? But God loved that man. May his soul rest in peace. Thank him. Thank you for your services. Thank you for giving your life, or could have given your life, but loved your country enough to go take care of what needed to be taken care of, you know, and being a man about it, you know. And, oh, hi, KMM. How are you tonight? So, and it's like, and you see these men that love their country so much that they would fly to France. I know they did it every year for a while, and then as they started getting older in age, they backed it to every 5 years, which is sad because obviously the older it gets, um, that's great. Glad to have you tonight. The older they get, they're not going to, I bet, they're not going to be able to make it. And it's just so sad. And I understand the whole thing of being at France or something, but come on, really, America, we can't put something together here in the States for these older gentlemen. They fought for our country. They took care of us before us was even born. They fought to make it so that we could be here and have the freedom to be doing this, saying my piece, saying how much I like, saying how much I dislike, as Connie says, the Marshmallow Man. I mean, it shows a lot about personality, and I know you should never really choose forge an opinion on somebody you've never met, but I've watched both sides of the track. I've watched, absolutely. Oh, God bless his heart. God bless his heart, KMM. I'll keep him in my prayers also. Those were some extra special men. But I lost my train of thought. Anyway, they were great men. They were really great men. See, Connie, this is where I need you to help me when I lose my train of thought. Terrible, terrible, terrible. So I got a funny one for you. Did you guys hear or see about that giraffe that lifted a toddler out of the car, out of the sunroof of the car? Oh, I bet he was. I bet he was. Yeah. So I guess a giraffe thought that she looked good. I don't know. It's an animal, and I believe that it probably just went to lick her or something. Um, Giraffes are not harmful animals. The only time they do anything is if they feel threatened or attacked. And then really their only defense is to kick. And from my understanding, they can obliterate your leg if they kick you. Yeah, wasn't that crazy? Um, I mean, because they are very docile animals, even though they're in the jungle, in the wild. I've been following giraffes for years and years, and I've never heard of a giraffe killing anybody, or accidentally. This is the first time really I've ever heard of anything with a giraffe. So, you know, maybe I'm thinking maybe the Marshmallow Man talked to the giraffe and it drove him crazy. I don't know. It's just a guess. Just a guess. Who knows? Or he heard him talking and he's had enough too, trying to get somebody's attention, like, hey, we need to do something here. Just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. Yeah, that was something else. And but in it, yeah, giraffes and dolphins are pretty much my favorite animals, mammals, whatever you want to say. Um, and so, yeah, those are my favorites. And every chance my mom gets, God love her, bless her soul, she'll buy me a new giraffe. Right, right, right. I don't know. I don't know, Connie. I don't know. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. And I think also like all these crazy, let's go back to the drugs thing for a minute. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it's because, honestly, I think the animals get a feeling of what's going on, Royal Apple. I really do. And I think the other thing, I mean, let's be fair and honest. If it comes down to feeding your family and feeding the dog just the scraps, what scraps you may have after feeding the family, that's what they get. I mean, they're being turned into vicious animals by lack of food. I mean, there are a lot of people that are prideful and won't ask for help or won't accept help. I used to be one of those people. I really did. I wouldn't tell anybody if I didn't feel good. I wouldn't tell anybody if there was anything wrong. I would just go on my merry little way. And I've been in a lot of car accidents. And in those car accidents, there was a lot of lapse of time before I would start getting my work pay through insurance. And yeah, there were a lot of nights I was eating bread, crackers, and butter. But do you think I would tell anybody I needed help? No. Until I finally got smart and it was like, I can't do this anymore. I just can't. I can't have the weight of the weight of the world on my shoulders like this. And it's not healthy. I mean, I was eating crackers and bread probably for about 6 weeks and water. So, yeah, not healthy, not healthy at all. But, you know, And that's when you could hey, that's when you could still even go to Taco Bell and get get a pop and, I used to love their chili burritos. I would get a chili burrito and a pop and some chips and, cheese, and it was like $3. $3. Now, you know, I have to admit I indulged today. My daughter-in-law was home from work, and, I was on my way home from my mom's, and I called her because I haven't had McDonald's in a while, and it's like, I love their burgers. I really do. I love their hamburgers and their cheeseburgers, and I thought, "Well, I'm gonna stop and get something." So I called my daughter-in-law and asked her if she wanted anything, and I had a coupon that was, buy one something and get one free. So, I did that and I got free chicken nuggets for my son for when he came home from work as a surprise, you know, but it's still for my daughter-in-law to have a chicken sandwich, a fry. I had a fry and a sandwich and we both had drinks, medium drinks, and it was still $20 for 2 people. And that was with a buy one, get one sandwich. I mean, go figure. That's crazy. That's crazy. And they're doing polls now, and people are saying, "Hey, fast food is a luxury anymore." And it really is. It really, really is. Because I mean, it probably always has been cheaper to cook at home, but when you have an active life, and I mean, sometimes it's just easier. I mean, hey, Little Caesars don't even have the $5 hot and ready anymore. So that's pretty sad. Right. Yeah, they did. They did. They're supposed to be coming back with it. I don't know, Connie. I don't know. I know I heard that Wendy's and another one is coming out with a $3 and $5 menu items, so that you can, like meals, you get a meal for $5 or $3, or I would probably think the $3 would be like a breakfast meal or something. But and I'm going to tell you guys something. I was ordering from a restaurant 2 weeks ago, and I thought, I'd like to have a pop with that. And I scrolled to pop. They wanted $8.50 for a 20-ounce pop. Well, guess what I didn't get? It's like, you have to be out of your mind. You're right. You're absolutely right, Royal Apple. Absolutely right. Yep. Yep. And the thing too about it all is that the food is no good for you. Every time you turn around, there is a salmonella, E. coli, something. And it's like, oh, it's a recall. Oh, it's a recall. And then when it comes back out, oh, guess what? The price went up 50%. How do they expect people to survive? I mean, really, how do they expect people to survive? And then um enough doom and gloom. Well, here's even more doom and gloom, but enough doom and gloom on the food. So just before I came on, I was watching President Trump, and as always, he just amazes me. And he actually took questions from the audience tonight, which he doesn't do very often, but he did it to prove a point, of course. But before that, I put on, I think it was The Real Voice or something like that, and they made an announcement that the first bird flu case killed somebody, and it's not the one in Mexico. They didn't say where, but it was a strand that they didn't know about for the bird flu. Yes, you heard me correctly. It was a strand they didn't know about. Buckle up, get your masks out, and be prepared, because they said this could be the yep, yep, absolutely. And this is supposed to be more fatal than COVID, by the way. Yeah. So where is it coming from? Who knows? I know one man in Mexico died from it, and that was supposed to be the first case of a human having the bird flu. But we're lied to so much. How do we know what's real and what's not real? Yes, absolutely, Connie. That's what I was getting to. When buckle up, and yeah, that's where it's going to come in, and you got to prep. I mean, Connie and I have been talking about that, and I know we don't say it enough because everybody else does, and and I know you guys. Right. Yeah. Right. Absolutely. I agree with you. I agree with you. Um, but how can you say, like 2 years ago, that there's going to be another virus that's going to take out people? How do you know that? How can you explain that? Explain that to me. You're just going to pick a bird and be like, oh, they're sick. So maybe a couple years down the road, there might be a bird flu that might, and that's the same thing. You guys, it's the same narrative. It's the same thing they did with COVID. Oh, it came from bats. It came from this. It came from the fish markets. It came from well, we don't know where it came. Oh, guess what? It came from a lab. How about that? Well, yeah, of course you didn't know where it came from because Fauci was putting crap in his money in his pocket for gain of function. I mean, the things that they have done to us Americans, in my opinion, they all need to be tried for treason or what's that other one, Connie? Um, not war crimes. You know which one I think I'm talking about. Um, causing harm to the American people along that line. Anyway, I think they should be tried, treason, and hung. I really do. Let's bring back the Old West. Let's bring it back. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Please bring it back because I am not a hateful person. I am not a person to wish bad on anybody. But I'll tell you, there is a good handful and a half of people that I probably could at least sit through. I say I could sit through all of them, but I probably could sit through one of putting it on TV and hanging them. Yes, I could, because in my mind, you got what you deserved. And that's how it used to be. That's how the laws were. I mean, that's the way it was. Boom, right there and then. You're found guilty. Next day, you're dead. Is it the right thing? No, not always. But when you have people that have caused this much harm to billions and billions of people, they've been poisoning us with all the crap they put in our food. Do you know half of our food needs to be modified to get into Europe because they won't tolerate all that extra plastics and chemicals or whatever. They won't tolerate that fake stuff in their food. So if you want to sell your product here, then change it. And that's why if you go abroad and you ever got a candy bar or something and it tastes different, that's why. That's why, because we're fed the cheap garbage like rats. And, the other countries are like, no, 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 you're not going to poison our people. So this is the way it's going to be. Yes. Yes, Connie. Absolutely. They do want us in fear. They really do. Um, oh, I never heard about that. I've never heard about that royal apple. I'll have to look into that. I know I got my mom because she was one of those people that swore by, I can't believe it's not butter. Well, 5, 6 years ago, I saw a report on it, and it was literally one ingredient away from being plastic. One. Yeah, that's it, Connie. Tyranny. Thank you. It was one ingredient away from being plastic. And I begged my mom, please stop using it. And about 3 years ago, I finally got her to stop using it, and she's like, "Well, butter's just so fattening." And I'm like, "Yeah, and plastic is killing. So what do you want? A little bit of fat if you use it moderately, because they weren't big butter margarine users anyway. But it's like if you use it moderately, mom, you're not, you're not going to put on gains of weight. It's only if make the butter this thick on a piece of bread, you know. I says, and it's much healthier for you. So, yeah, I finally got her to change that. And it's hard dealing with elders, because they're so used to buying their brand names, like they have to buy. My mom has to buy Del Monte vegetables, and it's like, mom, whether you know it or not, it's the same companies making the Kroger brand or the Piggly Wiggly brand or the Publix brand. Um, you know, and they do it cheaper. And that's what I don't understand. If you can do it cheaper, why don't you just do it cheap for everybody? And why do you, just because you have your name on it, Del Monte, why do you have to charge 3 times? You can sell a can of green beans for 59 cents, but if they're Del Monte, you got to pay 2.79. Why? Tell me why. Please, somebody tell me why. You know, I can't figure out how these people think and work. And we're all struggling and we all need to make money, and we all need to figure out how we can make more money so we can survive without being a scammer, a liar, a cheater, a thief, or whatever else you want to call it. But they seem to find no problems in doing it at all. And now it's just like everybody's gone on the cuckoo crazy. And it's just like, yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll just raise the prices. We'll just raise the prices. That's all. And since I was a kid in school, um, maybe high school, maybe a little younger, since I was a kid in school, I could never understand. And I wish somebody to this day could explain it to me, of the whole supply and demand. Why is it if you're selling 6 times the amount of something that you keep raising your prices? Why wouldn't the prices be going down cheaper? Because you're making all of that money. I'm not saying, or why can't you just keep the prices the same? Why do they have to go up? Because it's in demand. I mean, and we've seen it with other products. We've seen it with people. I I have one of the original Princess Diana's tie beanie baby. It's worth supposedly tens of thousands of dollars. I can't do that to somebody. As much as I would like to, nobody would have the money right now anyway to pay me. But how can you take something that was $5, $6, and just because the poor woman was killed, I mean died, um, yeah, it's worth astronomical amounts of money. I mean, I have seen it go for as high as $500,000. I'm sorry. There's nothing that gets put on a shelf, in my opinion, worth $5,000 or $500,000. Now, maybe if you want to buy me a platinum and diamond ring worth $500,000, I could put that to very good use. Or a necklace. I'm not asking for too much, because if you can spend $500,000 on a doll, why can't you spend it on me? No, I'm kidding. Uh, but anyway, um, I'm reading your comments, guys. Oh, okay, Connie. That's good to know. So next time I have to go through bread and butter, I'll because then I can stay away from the salt on the crackers. So yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Connie. I appreciate it. So yeah, I mean that's where we're at. Um, I do have probably another maybe 20 minutes of stuff I can share with you guys, half hour, if you want me to stay on. Um, I have no problems with that at all. Oh, how about this, you guys? How about this one? Did you hear Steve Bannon is to report to prison? Sorry, not jail, prison, July 1st. Yeah, you're right, Royal Apple, you're right. I remember doing that. I remember making our own bread. I remember making our own pasta. I remember making our own pasta sauce. They've just turned us into a bunch of, and I apologize, I'm not saying this directly to you, but they just turned everybody into a bunch of lazy, fat Americans that just want convenience. Just get it in my belly as quick as possible. I don't want to have to make it. I don't want to have to, all I want to do is um all I want to do is boil some water, throw some noodles in it, and open a jar and throw some sauce on it. You know, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I remember, and there were certain things that were an absolute treat because my parents, if we went out to dinner, it was for a very special occasion. And we usually went to get pizza because you could feed a family of 6 for like 5 or $10 back then, even if it was that much. I mean, a pizza was $1.99. Um, and we were never really big eaters anyway. But we would make pizza at home. We would make the dough, we would make the sauce, we would grate the cheese. It was the block cheese. We grated it. We were never talented enough to make our own mozzarella. So Royal Apple, if you can do that, God bless your little heart. And if you can make your own butter. I mean, I know it's easy to make butter, but I've never tried, and being an Italian girl, I'm afraid I would screw it up, you know. I remember I tried to make gnocchi one year for I think it was Christmas. And thank goodness I decided to make it a couple of days early, and then I was going to boil it and then freeze it. So I just had to reheat, defrost it and reheat it. Oh, it was bad. It was bad. My dad came in the kitchen and he said, "What are those?" And I'm like, "Garbage." And I was sliding it into the trash. I mean, I wasted 5 pounds of flour and the eggs and everything else. But do you, Connie? I didn't know that. Um, Bye, KMM. Thanks for stopping in. Love you. See you next time. We appreciate you and your support. Um, yeah, so yeah, well, we the tomato sauce that my family makes, it's still one of those ones that's supposed to, simmer all day, I think is the word I'm looking for. Simmer, not stew. It's simmer. Um, you know, but I mean, if you don't make it ahead and jar it and have it, then, by the time you get off of work or whatnot, it was hard to throw it together and couldn't let it simmer all day. So you got a kind of and the kids were like, "Mom, this tastes funny." And it's like, because it didn't simmer, because I would make usually a big batch on Sundays. And and the days that I just needed something quick because it was soccer night or baseball night or, something, it was just, okay, we got to eat and go. And they were like, it just doesn't taste the same. And I'm like, well, because it hasn't simmered, you know? Oh, okay. Okay. That sounds wonderful, Royal Apple. Um, so yeah, it didn't taste the same. And, they said, "You don't make it like grandma." I'm like, "Well," or, actually it was great grandma. And it was like, "You guys, do you understand that she would make it first thing in the morning and let it simmer all day long?" And that's when they still had a true simmer on the ovens and the stoves. That, simmer meant simmer. It didn't mean boil. It didn't mean pop, and it didn't mean burn the bottom of the pan. That thing was on there all day long and was never burnt on the bottom. Simmers nowadays, it's not a simmer. It's a simmer as fast as you can simmer. At least the stoves I've ever dealt with in the last 25, 30 years. They've never had a true simmer on them at all. Oh, wow, that's not bad. That's not bad. Not bad at all. You'll have to share the recipe, royal apple. I would love to try it. I really would. It sounds delicious. I know my brother had a girlfriend one time, and I hate to say this, and God rest my grandmother's soul, but his girlfriend made this spaghetti sauce, meat sauce, and oh my gosh, it was out of this world. Out of this world. She put like 3 different kinds of meats in it. She put, I think, Italian sausage in it. She put beef in it, and she put something else in it. Yeah. Yeah, please. That's a good idea, Connie. Um, yeah. So she, I mean, and really, she put my grandmother's sauce to shame, really. And my grandmother learnt from my nana, how to make the Italian sauce because my nana was right from Italy, right from northern Italy. So yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good, Royal Apple. I'm hungry. Um, I haven't eaten dinner yet. So yeah, that's where we're at. Connie, do you remember when we were on last week and you said not last Tuesday, was it Tuesday? That you had some things that you were gonna bring up, that you were gonna make fun of, and um I don't remember what they are. I should have asked you earlier when I spoke with you. Um, but I don't remember what they were. Oh, that's even better, Royal Apple. Oh, while you're on the organic thing, this was one thing I wanted to tell you guys about. I saw, I think it was on YouTube. I'm not sure. Um, it was a Irish, Scottish, maybe something. And they were saying that the American people need to be careful because if you see a sticker on the fruits or vegetables and it says a peel, don't buy it. They're putting those stickers on organic foods also here in the United States. And there's a chemical in it. So it therefore is no longer organic because you're getting chemicals into it. So I wanted to, let you guys know that it's just a capital A and then says peel, Peel. Yeah, and they said even washing it's on mostly like limes and avocados and stuff like that. Um yeah. So and you can't wash it off the skins. It won't wash off. It'll still be in there. So I mean, unless you can peel it and because it's on so many things like peaches, and who really skins a peach before you eat it? I don't know unless you're going to can them, and I don't even know if everybody peels the peaches before they can them. I would, but that's just me. Uh kind of weird like that. So yeah, and they said be careful, um and stick with like you said, Royal Apple, loyal local farmers. um yeah, you're going to pay a little bit more, but you're getting healthy foods. And then I was watching another one. That's why I said Irish Scottish, because I was watching another one that was either the Irish or Scottish, and he is a kale farmer. And me personally, I don't eat kale, but there's a lot of people that do. So I just want to put the message out there, that his farm is one of the last ones that don't use pesticides or anything else. And they just passed a law that they could still use the Roundup and that one chemical in it, and they can still use that yeah. So your stuff's not healthy. And they're doing that here in America. And I think it's wonderful that these farmers, I mean, you can tell they're farmers, they're not actors. And I think it's wonderful that these farmers from other countries are telling us what we don't even know. We don't even know this is going on, you know. I and like I said, you think you're buying organic when in all reality it's not. It's not. The only organic you're going to get is out of your own backyard. That's going to be true organic. Unfortunately, this year with my health and stuff, I was unable to do a garden this year. So I'm very sad about that. But, there's always next year. Um, and I mean, and I got plenty of green beans and tomatoes and, oh gosh, just I don't even remember everything. We grew lettuce, but you can't can or freeze that. I grew lettuce, I grew cabbage, I mean carrots, just and it was just wonderful being able to go out in the backyard, pick some lettuce, make a salad for dinner. It was great. It was absolutely great, you know. So, and I have to do something with the soil because last year at the end of the season, I found a grub in the soil. So it's probably tainted now. So I probably have to get all new soil, which is not a big deal because I buy a mix of soils and I buy like the Miracle Grow soil, vegetable soil, and I buy the organic and I just make a mixture of it. And man, oh man, I mean, my grandkids were like, my grandson wanted those. I don't remember what they were called, but they were the tomatoes. Guys, I'm not exaggerating. The tomatoes were this big, they were huge. I mean, they were made that way, but, and I asked because my grandson loves tomatoes and he likes the little cherry tomatoes. And I'll tell you a story after. And he said they were the sweetest, juiciest tomatoes he's ever had. So that made me feel good. But I mean, this is a kid that used to have Baby Bell, cheese, slices of tomatoes, and slices of cucumbers. And that was his lunch. So that's, how my son and his family eat, which I think is great. I think it's absolutely great that that's how they eat. And the boys, my grandsons, they eat kale. They love kale. Actually, my older grandson loves kale. I don't know how healthy it is because, my daughter-in-law cooks it with bacon, but it's got to be better than not eating it at all, right? Right, Royal Apple, exactly. It, I don't get it. They are just lying to us left and right, left and right. And it does. It is a lot of work. I mean, I had 2 gardens and I mean, they don't even sound that big. They were 5 or 6 feet by 3 or 4 feet, which, I thought that's nothing. But then when the stuff starts growing, it's like I can't keep up with this. The weeding and and we also had um, baby cucumbers, which we turned into pickles. So they were like pickling cucumbers. Um, oh my goodness, my son and my daughter-in-law, they're a pickle family. They love their pickles. And I was giving them so many. And my daughter-in-law and my son would try different brines to make different flavors and stuff. And yeah, I know, Connie. And the simplest thing that my son got an idea, I think it was my son. He got an idea because I had bought a big jar of pickles for them just right before, all before the garden started, like in the winter time. Nah, late winter, early spring. And my son got the idea because I was making or growing the pickles. He got the idea to save the brine that was inside of the pickle jar. So that's how they started doing it until they started making their own brines. And I'll tell you, they had some of the best pickles, best pickles. But I mean, for all the pickles I gave them, through the summer. By Christmas, they were all gone. Everything that she had jarred and pickled was gone because they just love their pickles so much. But yeah, I mean, and that's what I did, because I'm not adventurous, like them. They'll put together stuff and try stuff, and I'm not that adventurous. If I want a dill pickle, I want a dill pickle. I don't want this or that in it. I don't know how, I don't know, but they put different stuff in it and they liked it. Me, I would just, buy pickles and then I'd save the jar and, put them in it. Um, but yeah, I cheated. I did. I cheated. I'm not going to lie. I cheated. But, you know, at least we were having fresh, healthy pickles, you know, and I didn't have to try and figure out which brine was the best one, which one we liked the most, and all of that stuff. So, and I got to taste other ones when I went to my son's house. So it worked out good. I mean, I'm not complaining. Their pickles were good. They were great. Um, a couple of them were just like, "Ooh, what's in this?" You know. But yeah, they did a really good job. So, I mean, I I want my kids, and my daughter-in-law, I guess her family used to have a farm, or I'm sorry, they had a garden, but it was like one of them big, huge, massive, lot of work gardens, from what she said. And I mean, they grew just about everything. Um, but so she has the knowledge of it. It's just she doesn't have the time because they wanted to do that in their backyard and make a big vegetable because they're big, 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 big on vegetables, big on vegetables. Um, and so, but at least they have the knowledge of seeing what I did, like with the soil, because I don't know if she was involved in the soil or not. I don't know if she was just involved in the dropping the seeds and watering them and picking them and cooking them. I don't know. I've never really talked about it with her. So, but yeah, yeah, there's that. Um, and if you have a chance, I would definitely try. I mean, one cucumber bush, it's going to bring you so, so, so much pickles. And I mean, there's no way my other son and I could have eaten them all if I didn't have them to eat them too. So, okay, two more things I was going to go over with. And one of them is that they're saying, that the fake sugar that they're putting in pops or sodas wherever you're from, um, and people are using in their coffee. Um, Aspartate is in diet drinks. They're finding out that this is what's linking a lot of strokes and heart attacks. So I know I'm a Pepsi drinker, and I shouldn't even be drinking pop. I mean, because I sometimes get carried away with drinking too much. Um, but I know Pepsi has, it says made with real sugar. I have not seen any other pop with that on it. But I would, if you do drink soda, I would highly encourage you to buy the ones made with real sugar. Yes, it's not good for you. It's not good for you any way, shape, or form. But, if you like to have a ice cold pop on a hot day, with ice, the glass chills, and yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Um, get the stuff that has the real sugar in it, and don't. The worst thing you can buy is diet. I mean, it's just comical because that is the one thing my daughter-in-law does indulge in, is she does drink diet pop. I mean, not a lot of it, but like, and I'm like, why do you drink diet? And it's like the kids would ask, Mom, can I have a sip of your pop? Because they really just started drinking pop a couple years ago, and at that they can only drink root beer, orange, or Sprite. um, and because of the caffeine and all that other stuff. And she would never let him take a sip because of the aspartate in it, or aspartame, or whatever it's called. And it's like, well, if you don't want the kids drinking it, then why are you drinking it? I mean, you should care about yourself too. So, uh, right, right. Oh, I believe it, Connie. I believe it. I do believe it. Hi, Sandy. Holy smokes, are you kidding me? Seriously? I'm gonna have to look into that if Connie doesn't, and we're gonna have to do something on that. I can't. Well, you know what? I can believe it. I really can. It's hard to believe, but I can believe it. There's, there's a reason why, my opinion, they have polar bears and Santa Claus as mascots. I mean, think about it. You know, it only makes sense. It only makes sense. Because if I'm not mistaken, I do believe that they're the ones that really started with the Santa Claus stuff, taking away from the real reason of the season. Um, you know, and yeah, making it so commercialized. I mean, these poor kids nowadays, I don't know. I know a lot of parents do go to church, and I know a lot of parents that don't go to church. And yeah, these kids that have no influence of a God, any way, shape, or form. And I mean, there's all different religions. There's one God, but we all call him something different. And I truly believe that when they pray to Buddha, they're praying to God. I believe that when the Hindus pray, they're praying to God. I believe when the Muslims pray, a good majority of them pray to Satan. That's my belief. But I'm sure there's a lot of them that pray to Allah. I just don't agree with the ones that follow the Quran, and that we all have to die. The infidels have to die. And uh right, 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 Connie. Absolutely. And I know Connie and I talked about this, not on here, but Connie and I were talking about it one night. And I mean, we kind of laughed about it, but well, we didn't kind of, we did. We were laughing very hard. If you think about it, it's like these guys think that if they go and kill 20 people, 50 people, 100 people, 2 people, that they're promised to go to heaven, and they're promised to get 70 virgins. Now, the last time I checked, when you die, your body stays on earth and your soul goes to heaven. So your soul doesn't have any working parts. Right. Um, so, it's like, what kind of fool are you to think that there's even sex in heaven? How stupid are you? I mean, that's done here on earth to procreate and give forth, bear children. That's what that's for. It's not for your, well, it's not for your pleasure. It's supposed to be making kids. But I mean, come on, if you're married, whatever, I'm not going to get into that. But you know yep, that's right, no pecker. um because we know Pecker will never end up in heaven anyway, will he? The one from Trump's trial, Pecker is who I'm talking about. So yeah, even there's no chance. There's no chance that he'll even end up in heaven. So there will never be a Pecker in heaven. Sorry. Anyway, I mean, there might be, but yeah, whatever. Yes, Sandra. I believe it was supposed to be love and light. Love and light to you too. Definitely. Most definitely. We need more people praying and praying and praying and getting the word out. Yeah, yeah, you're right. He probably will end up with Stormy. Exactly. Exactly. Because, they kind of stick together. Okay. Have a good night. Get some good sleep, Sandy. Um, love you too. We'll talk soon. Um, yeah, so that's where we're at. And then I saw something real quick before I came on, and I'm gonna look into this too for you guys. They're saying, well, the Juul, the vape Juul, they've reversed it against Juul for right now, while they're still Connie. Yeah, right. Um, they're looking into it. They're lifting the ban from the Juul. But they said, I saw something, and I have to. This is the part I have to look into, is that they said that sugar is the new e-cigarette, um, and start looking for new warnings. And I don't know if they meant on the sugar or on the e-cigarette. So I'm going to look into that. If anybody's interested, if you're not interested, fine. Um, we don't have to talk about it, but it kind of piqued my interest since, I'm a vapor, but I don't do flavors. I'm not a flavor person. I'm like, just give me one that's menthol and I'm good, which is the worst kind for you. But anyway, um, so, but a lot of people like their flavors, you know. Um, but I'm not I wasn't really raised on fruit juices and stuff like that. So if I want watermelon, I want to eat a watermelon. If I want orange, I want to eat an orange. I don't want to drink an orange. I want to eat it. I do like orange juice. Um, no, no, I'm really not Royal Apple. I'm not a flavor fan. Not at all. No. Um, I mean, like I said, I will drink orange juice, but it's got to be fresh squeezed or it's got to be that simply orange, no pulp. I don't like the pulp. Um, you know, but yeah, I don't want flavored sodas. This flavored soda is driving me out of my mind with the vanilla Coke and the orange Coke, and they have a lime Pepsi now, and they have a cherry Pepsi, and they have, all they're adding all this stuff. And I was always under the assumption that Dr. Pepper was like a cherry Coke. That's the flavor I got from it. The one time I tried it, I didn't care for it. But then Pepper came out with a cherry Dr. Pepper, and it's like, that doesn't make no sense. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, because like I said, I don't really drink Dr. Pepper. Um, oh, what is that? The Mexican, is that Mandarin one? Um, but I mean, and my kids drink all, they don't drink pop, but my kids drink all the flavored stuff, the flavored fruit juices and stuff. Okay, that's what I thought you were trying to say. My kids drink all different flavors fruit juices, and so does my grandsons, and the all natural ones, and more power to them. you know I'm glad that they like such a variety, because that was my thing raising them, was I wanted them to have more variety than I had, because back when I was a kid in the 60s, you didn't have a lot of variety to begin with. Oh, okay, yeah, I think I saw that. um we didn't have a lot of variety, and you didn't get pop. That was a luxury. So you got Kool-Aid, and or Hawaiian punch. And I think I just got burnt out on fruit flavored. And to this day, really, honestly, the only Kool-Aid I will drink is cherry and sometimes grape, and that's it. Yeah, that was what I was trying to think of when I got a brain freeze, was the disease X. Yeah. And when I was saying, how did they know 2 years ago that we were going to have disease X? Tell me that's not another pandemic. I don't know, guys. I don't know what they're trying to do to us. Well, I do know what they're trying to do to us. They're trying to kill us any way, shape, or form they can. The less people they have, the less of us can fight them. And I'm talking about in every country, because this is going on everywhere. Everywhere. It's not just us. It's really not just us. And it's just sad. It's just sad that, our marshmallow head, there you go, Connie, our marshmallow head decided to take us into so many wars. It's a plan because we all know wars make money. But we also know, yeah, they do. That's why I said at the beginning, I don't think you were on yet, Connie. At the beginning, I told them, get your masks ready and be prepared. And that's why we said to prep, because they're going to try to lock us down again. And I believe it in my heart, just like I'm sure Connie believes it in her heart. And that's their whole goal because they got away with it once. Yes, that too, Royal Apple. Yes. But I just truly believe that they're going to try and do this. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I believe that they're truly going to do this, or at least attempt to do it. I mean, and you know, I saw a thing online on Facebook, and it said, "Isn't it amazing how we didn't get the decision we wanted, and we didn't go burn down cities? We just collected $52 million in 24 hours." Think about that, guys. Think about that. They didn't get the outcomes they want. They burn stuff down. They tear up cities. They, light things on fire. But we're the violent ones. We're the cult. We're the crazy ones. We're the ones that don't know any better. You know. Yeah. No, I don't, no, you can stick a feather in your hat and walk on out with that one. Yeah, well, they're gonna try. Oh, yeah. That was it, Connie. That was it. I gotta get this in before I say goodbye. Um, Connie was telling me that, the other day that, the birth certificates are now going to say male, female, or X. Think about that. Male, female, or X. When a baby's born, I am sorry if I'm gonna piss people off, but when you were born, you were either born a male or a female. There are some people that are born with both genders and they have to decide which one to be. I understand that, and it's a fluke of nature. I get that. But when you're born, you're either male or female. You're not X. And I was telling Connie that I heard that one of the movie stars, of course, in Hollyweird, um, had a baby, and people asked if they had a boy or a girl, and they said, "We don't know yet." Mhm. Now think about it. These people are what's going to be running the country in 20 years or less, right? And that's scary. We gotta do something. We gotta turn this all around. Um, we can pray and, we can do the best we can without getting ourselves into trouble. I mean, I know there's a lot of things I would like to go and do. I would like to go knock on the door and be like, "Hey, this is my house. Let me in." I paid for it. I pay to keep it up. I'd like to get into the Capitol. It's like, hey, this, we paid for this. We're supposed to be welcome anytime. I bet you can't get in it. I bet you couldn't even before January 6th unless you had an appointment. And now you'd probably have to damn near be strip searched to get in it. Well, I'm not going to go through all that, but I would really like to address the Congress, or I would like to address the Senate, or I would like to address this committee or that committee or whatever other committee they have. I would really like to address it. And I would like to see um, just how they respond and how they have answers, or if they're stumbling, bumbling idiots, which I'm sure they'll be, and they'll have an excuse for everything. But I would just like to be able to see it and record it. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. I think I would. I think I would go viral. I think Connie and I would definitely go viral with that one. Yes, I do believe. Yeah. Connie, we may have to meet up in DC at one point. You know, we just may have to and go live from DC and see, go to the Capitol and see if they let us in. That would be fun. I'm not going to jail though. They tell us to leave, we got to leave. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, maybe it's my younger years talking to my older self, thinking that I'm not this old anymore. But right, right, right. Exactly. You're right. I can't wait to see Dog the Bounty Hunter. I really, really, really hope that Trump makes him some part of his cabinet. I really, really do. Because that is some, excuse my language, ass kicking for sure. That would be everything. Yep. So I think I'm done. Connie, do you have anything to add on for tonight other than thanking all the lovely people for their love and their support for us? Um, we'll be back. Well, I'll be back on Tuesday because, like I said, Connie has other obligations on Tuesday, and I hope you're feeling better. Please feel better, Connie, and enjoy your obligations. Um, and spend the time with your husband. Um, I will be back on Tuesday, and we're going to attempt to do 80s night. I'll do the best for you guys as I can. Uh, but yeah, it should be fun because I mean, I graduated high school in 1980, so I kind of was like a teenager and obviously grew up through the 80s into adulthood. So, okay, Connie, thank you. Um, uh, yeah, so that should be interesting. I should have a lot of good stuff. I'm gonna try to pull up some different songs from the 80s and see if we can play name that tune. See if I can get some commercials. See if I can find a couple other fun things we can do and go from there, guys. So I'm putting together a really great show for Tuesday. I hope to see you there. Again, we love you and thank you for your love and thank you for your support. God bless each and every one of you. I pray that you have safe weekends. And yeah, guys, until Tuesday, love you. Feel better, Connie. I love you. I hope you get better soon and doesn't spoil your little whatever you want to call it. So, oh, thank you, Royal Apple, and you too. And please don't forget to put that recipe on Discord. I really want to try that recipe. It sounds delicious. I'm always up for trying new things as far as like things I know, like tomato sauce or something like that. I'll try new things. I'm not big on trying like weird things, like the kale with the bacon in it. Yeah, no, that's not me. So don't put it on my plate and waste it. Put it on their plate and they'll eat it. That's kind of my theory. And the boys always had to try, whatever they cooked for dinner. So they always had to take at least one bite and try it. And they found out 90% of the time they liked it, whatever it was. But yeah, this Nona's not that adventurous. So God bless and have a good night, everybody. Stay safe, safe, safe. Keep your chin up. We've only got a few more months, and hopefully we can get this all turned around. I love you guys. Bye.